Everyone, and welcome to the Aligned and Embodied Women's Summit, soulful masterclasses designed to help you reconnect and remember the truth of who you are. I'm Emma,
Hi, I'm Mia.
and today we are talking to the amazing Ali Varshal. Ali is an artist, visionary, and transformational guide. Welcome, Ali.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
And today we're talking about how to find re-inspiration for part two of your life. So this is such a juicy topic. For starters, like, how does somebody know if they have reached that part two of their life, right? Like, do you see it as being defined as a particular age that you reach, or more like a life milestone, like perhaps going into retirement, being an empty nester, going through menopause, going through something else? Like, tell us, like, how do you know if you've reached that part two of your life?
Oh, that's a great question, Emma. Well, first of all, I think that um, to be re-inspired, I think there's a lot of parts to life, and we have chapters, and it's really powerful to be present when you're closing one chapter and starting a new one. And so in our culture, we rush, rush, rush and hurry, and we kind of hit these big milestones, and we don't even we skid into the next thing, and we're, oh, I just got married. Oh, I just got back from my honeymoon. Oh, the kids just went to college. Oh, my husband just died. Like we're like on this fast track, and we never rarely pause to catch our breath, stop, and be in a moment where you're with yourself and you're closing one chapter and beginning a new one. And so, re-inspirement is all about, some people are terrified of retiring, and it is a kind of death uh, of identity and all of that. So, there's these big milestones of um, going from like high school to college, college to the workforce, single to married. Maybe there's a divorce, maybe then, or on the other track, maybe you have children. And even if you're married and want children, but you can't have children for whatever reason, and we don't take a moment to stop and pause and literally be with um, every space and chapter of our lives, so that we can not only clear out and get complete with things, but celebrate and acknowledge and anchor all that wisdom, that all of that life experience, and take it into a quiet place and catch a vision for a future that I want to live into, that I will love, that you will love, that Mia will love, that each person really wants, instead of being like kind of on a not a train that's on a runaway train, and then you get to the end and you have massive regret. And so this whole thing is about a sacred pause to in at each step. So it's not that there's one part and then part two of life. It's really getting present to being in the now, and that's going to be key to accessing your true self, that's full of power, creativity, wisdom. And she knows where she wants to go, and she knows how to get there. And what I'm going to help people with is give you access and all the tools so that you can always honor the next new chapter of life. Because I think that we're not designed to retire ever, but we are designed to acknowledge ourselves and to celebrate each step, and then build from a solid. We build this incredible life, and we with our life experiences, and then we gain momentum instead of feeling hurried and rushed and haggard and pushed and pulled and stretched too thin, and all of those ways that we can be in kind of an inauthentic path, if you will.
And so, with that, like, why would you say people need to be re-inspired? Like, what can happen that makes you lose inspiration and motivation for life, that they would feel compelled to kind of have this pause and go through the process?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Mia. Um, well, I think that it's very common. Like, we are trained, we go to school, we're trained to perform. and to produce and to, play roles. And we get shoved, we start out this expansive, creative, divinely connected, free soul, as little children. And then we get funneled down tighter, 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 tighter into this tiny one path. And I think that along the way, even as a very young person, you can start to feel like parts of yourself that you really love get closed off from you. You have all these obligations. You're in this, you're in a mode of I gotta study and take a test, or I've got to get ready for my wedding, or I've, my first baby's on the way, and then third or fifth, or oh my God, something happened with my relationship, and now I'm dealing with all that hurt, madness, and chaos, and the disruptive qualities of having to go through a divorce and how painful that is. And we start to lose, we stop paying attention to ourselves, and we give ourselves away to all the people and demands. And there's a place where you start out young and very clear and energetic and hopeful, and life is full of possibility. And with each step that you take that closes all those doors, and it closes access to your own heart, the minute you start feeling like that, it's very powerful to stop and pause and do this actual process that I'm going to give to everybody, so that you can take your power back and be present and kind of stay on an open, expansive course that gives you access to full self-expression and joy and love and all the things that we want: health, wealth, being cherished, and having access to love, not only being loving, but receiving love. And so re-inspiration and reigniting your passion, your fire, and stopping and pausing and touching base with yourself. And am I on the right track? It's kind of like when you fly a plane, the pilots always talk about this course correct. The plane's always off course, but if the pilot if he took it off of autopilot, or if it was on wait a minute, if it wasn't on a flight program, it would land. If you want to go to New York City, it might land in Ontario, and then you're like, what, So this is a process where you have this big overarching view of where you want to go in a graceful, peaceful way that's filled with ease and joy, and actually the courage and strength to overcome some of life's big challenges, which we all face. Nobody, everybody goes through rich experiences, but this gives us a space to honor the process and course correct, so that we want to get to a destination: health, wealth, well-being, living a powerful, wonderful, fully expressed life. And we don't want to go, if we want to go to New York, we don't want to end up in, Ontario, or, off course. And then you get there and you're like, what have I done? So it's actually it's good at any age. We can start. I always say we're not aging, we're saging, if they can upgrade computer systems. I don't do birthdays anymore. It's like, Allie 4.1, or, if you're in your 20s, it's 2.3, so, yeah, so we're always upgrading and spiraling up, but that spiral up, we have the checkpoint of knowing, oh, I'm on the right course. And if some of your fire went out, then we want to connect you back to your passion, your purpose. And these things change as well with each stage of development, and if you are true to yourself, you can discover, oh, this was good for me in my 20s, but now I'm in my 30s or 40s, and I have a different shift, and I've completed with some things. And so it's a way to honor our whole path, to stay deeply connected to source and self, and to stay connected with your true inspiration. So sometimes we do need to get re-inspired because we've gotten off track, doors have closed, we've become disconnected to ourselves. And so this is a great way, a very gentle and easy way to integrate, and stay, true to yourself, in your everyday life.
Oh, beautiful. And I know that we're speaking to women here in the summit. Particularly for women, do you think that because we tend to take on a lot of these caregiving roles, what can that do for a woman? Can that mean that we go down a path where we're, putting everybody else before ourselves, and we never stop, like you say, to take the pause and go, what do I actually want? So you might end up living a life that's completely in service to others. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, exactly. In fact, I think if we polled most of the women on the planet right now, we have that shared life experience because I think maybe if you're very young and your mom's conscious, like your children are going to grow up fantastic, Emma, because you have a different consciousness. But yeah, as women, well, we are the nurturers, like inherently. We carry the child, we birth the child, and even if you never have a child, we are creative beings bringing life into the world. And we are women. We have the capacity for real active intuition and connecting with the divine. And it's really interesting. I just learned about when a mom's pregnant and after you have the baby's cells, those cells are in the mother's body, and the baby has the mother's cells for up to 7 years. So it's interesting in terms of intuition. Your little boys could be somewhere and you get a ping. I need to check in with my boys because something's going on. And then you can take action on that and you find out, oh, I was right. And so we're constantly pulled away from our own sense of who am I, what am I here for, and taking care of ourselves first. It's like the old statement around the airplane thing. We put the oxygen on ourselves first and then take care of everybody else. But what we end up doing is taking care of everybody else, and then we're like, we're gasping for air, and we haven't taken care of ourselves. And in every area of life, personal well-being, health of the body, health of the mind, even our environments can become chaotic. And you're you're sucking down a protein shake as you're on the subway or on a train to work, and then or you drop you're throwing your kids out to daycare and then hurry, mommy will watch you get in the door. So there's all this the way in which we forget, we put ourselves last because we think, oh, this just one time I have to rush, I have so many things to do. And next thing you know, you've lived an entire life where you didn't put yourself anywhere near first, and then you find you're at the back of the line, and a lot of things happen. There's buried resentment, because we haven't taken care of ourselves, and that takes a toll on us energetically, like dis-ease. When there's not ease and we're not aligned and embodied with who we really are, Emma, then there becomes the body's going to get our attention with dis-ease, and events will happen that will, life has a way of going, wake up, you're way off course, and it looks a certain way, and we tend to label it as, then we get stuck in victim mode, and we're coming from a place of this is happening to me, not for me. That's one of my big shift words. One word, not to take you out of victim consciousness to an empowered state of being, is when people say, why is this happening to me? And I say, that's a great question, but it's, why is this happening for me? What am I being called to pay attention to? What is wanting to be rearranged, or what wants to be let go of? So we're constantly being called into the present moment, Emma, so that we don't get sucked down the path of, tired, haggard, powerless victim. And then we're living with resentments and, all these buried emotions that our bodies are holding, and we're also giving off. We are truly mountains. You only see 1% in the visible of who we are, and the rest is lived in the invisible. What we don't say, what we bury, what we suppress, and then we experience depression. It takes enormous energy to hold down all of your vibrant life force, but we do it, and then now we're depressed, and now we're taking medicine that hurts our bodies and has all these contraindications, when the path to wholeness is, I need to stop and pause and take good care of me. And what lessons are we teaching our children? If I put myself last, then I'm perpetuating an inauthentic way, a whole lineage, a genealogy of a cycle that doesn't serve anyone. And it as we know, we see in the evidence in the world, it's not working for anyone. That women, that we women as an entire half of the planet, we need to take our power back, cherish ourselves, make time for ourselves. Like there's this whole idea of Wonder Woman. You know, Emma, you're married, you have an entire business, and now you have twin babies, beautiful baby boys, and Mia has raised a whole family and had a career, and you support your husband, you do your job, you take care of the kids, and where's time for you? And so I'm opening a conversation around equal parenting. Like, if I'm going to work, then and you're working, then we're going to parent together, because it's not like I'm at home and my primary focus is raising our children. That was a great model, and many of us don't have even the luxury to do that anymore. And so let's call into an active, conscious knowing of saying what we really need, and the support, and what it looks like, and creating a new marriage arrangement, and new agreements that we are in the driver's seat, and we get to say what we need when we need it, and create a whole new paradigm around all these static old paradigms of what it is to be married, and what it is to be. When we name a thing, we fall into a role, and often it's archaic and it hasn't been defined freshly. Or people don't even think they have the right to say, I'm in my marriage, I want it this way. And so there's a wide range of giving yourself permission to be really present to what you need and want, and how beautiful that is to teach that to everyone around you, because then your relationships rise, because there's a clean interaction, because I'm honoring myself, I'm honoring you, I'm honoring the balance of life. And so often women understand we get out of balance because we're giving, and we're not filling up ourselves, and then it has serious repercussions across every aspect of our life. And then the worst part is we try to cover it up. We have to be strong for everybody, and like breast cancer, it's how we receive love. That dis-ease is, I've stopped taking in love and I'm giving love, but your body's saying, hey, I need some love. And it will stop you cold if we don't start paying attention to early warning signals. And how do I pay attention to that inner voice, and how do I honor it?
Yeah, if I can just chime in for a second, I can so relate to everything you're talking about here. And it's really, really hard. Like, we were just going through this on the weekend, for example. I have an amazing supportive partner. We do, we very much are trying to do this equal parenting thing. But what we find is, I get to the point where I'm like, I need a break. Like, I just need to step out, because the boys are so intense. And the problem is, my partner says to me, but the boys want you. I step out of the room, 2 seconds later, where's mommy? Where's my, they start to freak out. They're looking for me. So it's like, as mothers or as women, we have this really strong bond with our children. And when he walks out of the room, there's no where's daddy, like they can't break. But here I am. I'm 2 seconds later, just try and shut the door, lock the door, watch a bit of TV, have something to eat, whatever it is. And they just notice almost immediately. So it's really hard, I think, as women, especially when the kids are little, because it almost feels like I can't have that break. It's not available to me, right? You're trying to honor your needs, and so is your partner, but it can be really challenging. So I've just noticed that in my own life, and I can really relate to what you're saying.
I understand that. And it's interesting because, and you have twins, so double trouble and double blessings, right? I think that children, if you start to literally explain to them, like with mommy and daddy there, mommy's just going to take a break so that, like when you take a nap or when you want your bottle, like, and they'll start to get it. And if you tell them, I'm going to be back, and you show them the clock, or give them something that they could relate to, and you start to train them, because we train our husbands the same way by speaking up and testing what works. And you might need to say, honey, you're going to get to deal with a little bit of what I deal with for the 12 hours. You can have it for 1 hour or a half an hour, and you can we'll start little, like 20 minutes, then maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, and then you can get it up to whatever time chunk you really need as a mom. As a mom, so now you're in that role. And what is powerful, Emma, is to say, mommy's going to be Emma for a minute, boys. I'm not going to be mommy for just a minute. I'm going to take myself out of that role. And they won't get it at first, but when they get that, mommy's going to take good care of herself, mommy's going to take a nap, mommy's going to go for a meditative walk, whatever you want to do, mommy's going to dance, do some trance dancing, and train and work with everybody, your whole family unit, because, we teach people how to treat us. And it sounds like you have a great partner. I love seeing your family pictures and how he really is very present. And so that's a really big gift. But even, and you could teach him how to take care of the kids and how to take care of himself, and let him start to stretch also into, okay, well, they don't get to be, because life, another thing that they're noting now in generations, the last 20 years, children were raised without, like, everybody got a trophy, everybody was, and it wasn't a reality. And now we have 40-year-olds living with their families because they didn't know how to be strong, and that life does present actual challenges. And so if you can start all over the place to start to say, I'm going to just take care of myself right now, my darlings. And honey, for an hour, you're going to feel this divine moment. And we can talk more about that, Emma. And it's so hard in the moment because, you're pulled to, they're both pulling on you and crying and arms up, and their big brown eyes start, they know how to get right to you, because kids know. And like I mentioned before, you have their cells still in your body. So there is this divine connection all the time. And even Mia's children are grown up, or they're getting much bigger, but that heart connection, that never gets severed. It's always, that's the space where we live in this invisible realm, where we're fields of energy and vibration, and they know they're connected to you. And so you could actually tell them, you may not see me, but I'm there. I'm holding on to you. And they'll know, like, whatever, and you'll be divinely guided as to how to work with your unique family, what's going to work best. But that's a perfect example of, when you're about to blow, or crack, and you need to, and it's going to be best for everybody, So, and it's all, you're in the space of an incredible shift, Emma. You're in that place where you were born at the end of one millennium, and you matured, and there's this place of coming of age in a brand new millennium. Like, so not only do we need to complete with an entire millennium and all those ways, those outdated ways of being and acting, but now you're in a role where you're in this full bloom and a power center to actually define what it is to move forward as a powerful woman that has all these roles. But we are not our roles, we're not our identities, we're not our bodies. And And that's the place where, who am I, and anchoring that I am a sacred being here, and that part of me gets to be attended to. So does that make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think when we're talking about the example of telling them, mommy's going to come back, then they're 2.5. They're not going to understand that right now. But what I can
Right.
imagine is that for a lot of women, potentially, in the beginning, when you've got a little baby, they're not going to understand if you need to take a break, and it's obviously very intensive. But potentially, as they get older, that stuff is possible. But how many women actually speak up for themselves and say, I need this time, right? I think it becomes normalized that I'm just going to overgive and overgive and give everything in those early years. And for a lot of women, it probably just keeps going on. They're teenagers and you're still doing it. They've left the house and you're still just overgiving in every way that you can. I'm imagining that, going through an exercise like what you do with your clients and your students, it's really important to break that cycle.
Yes. Yes. And that's all the conditioning of old ways that are outdated, that we know don't serve us. They're inauthentic. And like you mentioned, when you first have the baby, it's sleeping most of the time. And so you if we get present to what we really need, and then you could say, okay, my darling, meaning your husband or your partner, whatever relationship you have active, even as a single mom, you could pull in support. Maybe your mother can help, or while I take care of myself, I want you to be with my child, my baby, my infant, my 2-year-old. And then the baby gets used to, oh, mommy's going away to take care of herself. Like, and it's not going away, but it's the taking care, that it starts to become, it becomes a normal way that the children will be, oh, okay, this is how it works. And I'm never not taken care of. There's always going to be a space. And Mia has teenagers. By the time they want to be like, oh, like, go already, so, but they always want to know that you're close. It's
Yeah.
funny. So yeah, it's all training. And it's interesting, Emma, that you're in a place where you're literally defining a new way to be a mother. And it's very big. And to raise up whole, perfect, and complete, confident, creative children that will be these dynamic adults, and not be like needy and weakened by how we, like, there's the difference between interdependence and codependence. And so well-meaning moms of like the last 20, 30, 40, these last few generations, were super moms, and they did it all. In fact, I know someone personally that my one of my sisters, she was like a super type A on steroids, and her kids are all grown, and her oldest boy when he was a senior in college, he was bringing home his laundry. And I was like, I should have said to my sister, you know, you need, like, when they go off to college, that's one of these rituals where we can create a closure and a doorway, and say now, and as you prepare for college through high school, you're saying you're not going to be alone, but this is where you step into adulthood, and this is the shift of responsibilities, and you get to experience different ways of life. So everything is an interesting process of teaching and speaking up for ourselves, teaching a new, like, that we are literally, as moms and as women, we're training everybody around us how to treat us and how to be in the world. So all these doorways and chapters, one door closes, that's the end of a chapter. And like high school to college, it's a big step for kids. And then to empower them to say, well, these are some things that you could expect, and I'm here for you, but you're going to take this on. And so, and then, single to married, married to, being parents, and on it goes. So it's, I'll give you a juicy nugget. One of our superpowers is consciousness. And no one, I mean, it's very, very few people that are actively grounding into a conscious life, like creating my day with the first breath that I take. And these kind of things that I'm going to give people. And it's just retraining ourselves in a particular way. We literally have to mother ourselves the way we want to be mothered and wanted to be mothered and need to be mothered. So it's and we have the capacity, we have all the gifts and skills to do it. But like you said, taking care of yourself is one of the biggest keys to the whole process. And when you take that break, Emma, that's literally a moment where your body and your mind and your soul and your spirit are like taking a breath. Oh, you and re-inspiration, inspire, it's in breath. You're literally like taking in life again, and you're recognizing it's not a gigantic big thing like I've lost all my inspiration. It's just, no, I literally need to take my breath in. I need a moment. I need to take care of me so then I can be my best self for all these other roles and hats I wear and all of the other things I get to do and how I get to participate in life
Mm,
with
interesting.
an empowered grace and ease around being re-inspired and catching your breath and having that moment where you're taking care of yourself. And then, as your kids get older, they'll be like, Mommy, go take care of yourself. Because they know you come back refreshed, re-inspired, settled, and empowered again. And it's self-love and appreciation is the beginning of anchoring all that power, and it reverberates into our entire life. It saturates our life, and it's interesting how life responds to us each in a different way. So,
Yeah. Sorry to monopolize on all the questions here, Mia, but I just keep having
Yeah.
just ideas, sparked by what Ali's saying. But yeah, so it sounds like what you're saying here is that it could be those small moments of needing re-inspiration where you need the break from the kids or whatever, caring role or whatever you're doing. And then I'm assuming it can also be the bigger picture. Like I can relate for myself, I know what my identity was like before the kids. And then like, who am I now? Who am I really now that I've had the kids, and have I really lost all that side of myself that once was inspiring that I no longer seem to be able to access? So would you say that it's those small moments, but it's also the bigger picture?
yes, definitely. And that's a great noticing, Emma. Like that's what I mean. Life has a way of like it builds momentum in a direction that is taking us, and that's where in the process of knowing who I am, and then we get into this kind of obligation type of lifestyle, and being run by life and what we owe. I got to do this for somebody, and I need to do that, and I have to take care of the boys, and oh my God, I have this deadline. And Mia, you understand this. People come to you for dream work, and our dreams are like, hello. And that divine inner knowing is constantly bubbling up to the point where you're dreaming about events and things that literally your soul is pulling you, calling you, hello, Mia, Emma, come back, and Allie, and all of everybody, say your name. And if we ignore that inner call, then we get into a world that is not only inauthentic, but it presents us with a lot of challenges that we are designed, our bodies are designed to be radiantly healthy. We are designed to be powerful and to live in a joy filled, loving, peaceful, fully expressed creative life, and to give our gifts and skills. And as we contribute from an authentic place, we feel more and more whole, more and more empowered. But when we get either by not ever having been taught that you have value, you have the right to take the space you need, to reclaim your power, to reclaim anything that you need. We're often taught as women, you gotta, you're just there for service, and then we pay a very steep price, and it's it shows up in life in a lot of different ways, a lot of ways. Every time you have a crossroads where there's great loss or pain and suffering, we can't avoid pain, but we don't have to suffer if we know how to take care of ourselves. And so the entire Reinspirement class is a kind of a reclaiming or reigniting, connecting you back to the importance and value of self-love and appreciation, self-care, grounding, and building a life you really want to live. And you still feel like um, control is a myth, but holding on loosely where oh, I'm kind of I am a ship and I'm guiding myself and I'm enjoying the journey. And there will be storms, but you'll know that you'll see them coming. You'll batten down the hatches. You'll take good care. You'll get through it. And even if it's one of those tsunamis where your ship rolls, that everything is in divine order and nothing is out of order. And so there are these moments where life shifts dramatically, suddenly, and even in those moments, filled with it could be filled with grace, where you've set up, I know how to take care of myself. I recognize this is really painful. A sudden death, God forbid, or even losing a job. I lived in California, and I had a friend when the fires were going on. Her house burned down. All she like, her kids were like, "Mom, we gotta go," and literally she was pulling out stuff, and the fire was coming up the backyard, and as they're pulling away, her entire house lit up. And so we go through these things, and it's powerful to know how to take care of yourself, and in those moments where there's no control, and it's a moment in life that life is saying, I'm going to take you and reset everything for you, and you can move forward from here. And so there's a way to contextualize and look at events in life, like fire is our energy. And so for something like that to happen, there was a deep letting go that was being called forth. And was funny when I talked to my friend, her name was Kim. She said, I had the thought to sell the house so many times, but I was so attached, and I had my kids grew up there, and I had history, but I kept thinking, it kept hitting me. And it's interesting how we do life, right? So there's these places and spaces of the divine pause, and being in the stillness, so that you could empower yourself to see what's right in front of you and not just keep going like with blinders on. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does. Do you have a little practice that you were gonna go through with us about that?
Yeah, we can do something together. So I'll give you a rough outline. Like the Reinspiration class is about recognizing these chapters and these big shifts, or like Emma was saying, small shifts in life. And it's about, it's an ongoing, continuous part of life. So if we get that, then we get to, it's like retirement is a big deal, because that you're at a certain point in life and now you're thinking it's all over for me. But we get to retire, like, when you talk to a young kid, they might go, like when your boys turn 7, they might go, "Mommy, I'm a big boy now." Like, of course I know how to do that. Like, kids still know I've gone from this to that. Don't you see me? So yeah, we have these divine cycles in life, and they're circles, sacred circles, and we spiral up. And so I think it's great to reclaim our inner wisdom and knowing, and we get to make space. I'll take you through a process where it's a meditation that I do for my classes and my students, and it's very powerful, but it's a place where you get to recognize things you took on, and then you will get to let go of them, so that we're going to make space, because the whole journey is to go from knowing and owing, and then knowing with a K-N-O-W, to knowing, actually saying, what do we say no to with ourselves, and what are we real, and what should we be saying no to? And then we shift from the no, where we deny ourselves for all those host of reasons that we've been talking about, to saying yes to ourselves. And that takes making space, and that takes being in the place that's creativity calls for courage to step into the unknown. And in the unknown is all the possibility and all the power to create a life you really want to live and say yes to. And every cell of your being will start to fill up with energy, and you'll have this sense of grounded power, and I can do it. And you get electrified, you get, your fire gets, you, that re-inspiration starts to happen, because every time we let go of something that's inauthentic, we now have created space. And when we take the pause to let the space just be there, I think, me and you have both had children, so the fun part is you get pregnant, and then there's this whole space of where things are happening in the invisible, and that is it. You have to let it be. You have to let something grow and develop, and you don't know what it's going to look like. You just, you're like, I know this is going to be beautiful, but there's this space, and we rarely in our cultures now give our lives the space to that gestation time where you're in the womb of creation, and you allow this still space, and you feel it forming, and the gracefulness and the gentleness. We're very impatient now. We're, bing, I want the, the 1 second response and all of that. But life actually takes the time it takes. And there are, we're being called to put back in these sacred pauses where things can develop, and then you can really birth an authentic life. And so there's that knowing, owing, the N-owing, and then the culmination of the course is an entire movement that I think we're all going to be part of, nowing, living in the now with an eye and a mindfulness about where you're going, but you're not gripped and holding on and controlling, and all the suffering lives in, I gotta control this, and we don't ever have control. But if you're in this spaciousness of grounded power, that you're aware, I know who I am, I'm in this now moment, I hold this whole space sacred, I see you as a divine presence, I see my entire life unfolding, and I'm gonna go, there's a divine flow. And then there's also, you have a rudder and you can steer, but you're not, forcing the ocean. I'm going to stay in this straight line because the ocean's like, I got news for you. I'm going to move you around a little bit. And all that movement serves to, again, have us live in the now moment. So we're constantly present and checking in with ourselves. Am I being self-loving? Am I appreciating myself? Am I taking care of myself so that I can be all that I need and want to be for every other area of my life and every other hat I choose to wear, not just am shoved into or forced into or bullied into, or, how it all happens. You know what I mean?
Amazing. Well, I'm so excited to hear this meditation. Let's do it.
Okay. So I'm going to invite everybody, and I hope everybody watching will participate. So if you're willing, you can just you can sit up and or you can lean back and be comfortable. I just don't want you to fall asleep because I'm going to take you through a meditation, and this is part of our letting go, the very first step when we're in this knowing, where we've put ourselves in all these little boxes. Okay, so and this is all we're going to channel together. So I'm going to be tuning into your energy across all time and space. I see you there. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and just take a deep, deep breath. And when you breathe in through your nose, very organically. Breathe in through the nose. Allow your belly to fill up. Allow your breath to be full. And then hold your breath for a count of 3, and then slowly release it through your mouth we're going to release for a count of 5. So you're going to exhale like you're exhaling through a straw. And we're going to do that. It's a box breath. And so let's take a breath in. Deep, full from the belly. Let that diaphragm really become strengthened and expand your lungs. And 3, 4, and now hold. 2, 3, 4, and exhale for 5 through the straw. 3, 4, 5. And now take the breath in, same way. 3, 4, and hold. 3, 4, and now exhale for 5. And now just allow your breath come back into even, gentle breathing. And as you breathe, imagine yourself. You've entered a beautiful room. It's very, very peaceful. So you can imagine yourself opening a door and you step into this beautiful, peaceful room. And you close the door very gently behind you. And you feel very comforted in this room. It's very familiar to you, and you feel safe. And there's a sense of a perfect environment for you. Maybe the doorway opened you up into a beautiful forested area, or a backyard patio, or a meditation room. Wherever this beautiful room is for you, you see 2 chairs in the middle of the room. The room might have windows and sun, they might be open, and beautiful gentle breeze, fresh air circulating, the curtains gently blowing. However your room looks, I want you to now walk toward a chair, and they're both divine thrones. They're like a throne. What does your throne look like? I want you to gather and see both of these chairs. They're facing each other, and you sit in one of them. And you kind of wiggle in, and it's just made perfectly for your body. It's supportive and it's comfortable and it's beautiful. It's exactly what you envision a throne to be. When you place both of your hands on the armrests, you feel very grounded and powerful. You know you're the queen goddess that you were born to be. And in this chair, all of your power comes rushing back. You're in a divine place of knowing, I am the queen of my life. I am all the power that ever was and will be is right where I am. I am the goddess. I am divinely connected. Oh. And I am divinely connected, and all is well. And you feel a sense of yourself being present as queen, as goddess, as the divine sacred feminine. And you feel very powerful and grounded and self-aware. And as you take a breath, you spy on the other side of the room you hadn't noticed before, there's another door. And the door is beautiful, and you lift one hand and you allow the door to open, and in comes your mother. And whatever age she enters is perfect for right here, right now. And your mom comes in and you wave to her like the queen you are. You ask her, come forward, and you invite her to sit across from you in the other throne. And your mother comes, and you notice you have thoughts and feelings and body sensations. And you look at your mother, and she looks at you, and she sits down. And you might notice some thoughts. You might notice your body beginning to feel in a particular way. And you might notice body sensations. And so just notice those, all of the activity, just from seeing your mom. Your mom isn't saying anything yet, and she's looking at you with love. She's come from the sacred place where you're seated with her actual high self. And so there's an inner knowing that all is well here. And now as you take in a breath, and we bring light and energy into all of your bodies through your crown chakra, which is at the top of your head. The light just travels with your breath, and it's gently grounding you and empowering you. And you exhale. And to your side, to one side, whether it's your left or right side, you notice there are boxes. They're beautiful jeweled boxes. And you pick one up. And in the box you're holding now in both hands, you put a way of being that your mom taught you into the box. It was a role that she learned from her mother, and her mother learned from her mother, and so on and so on and so on. And you get a sense of the thread, the energetic cord that has been brought forward all the way to you. And you say, you know, Mom, I'm putting this way of being into this box, and I'm closing the lid. It no longer serves me. I thank you for giving it to me. I know you were doing your best, but I'm now going to let this go. And you hand the box to your mother, and she reaches out and she takes it from you. And you notice maybe she's having her own reaction to taking the box back. And you breathe and you allow it to be, and you take in a breath right now, because now you have so much more space, and something has gotten complete because you've taken a part of you back. You've opened up space in your inner field. You've let go of something that you knew never really worked for you. And you've given it back to your mother. And she may be totally fine with it, or she may be having some thoughts and feelings and body sensations. And you let her be. It's totally fine. She's safe, you're safe, and all is well. Because what we're doing is giving it back in the invisible. So no hurt or harm can come to you or her, but you are taking back your own space that you've always known is there for you. And now you lean over and you get another box. And you take the lid off the box, and now you put in another way of being or thinking or acting or belief system that a way she may have labeled you, how she perceived you, that your own soul knew that is not who I am. It may have started when you were very little. It may have come from, again, it comes from her lineage. It was given to her by her mother, and it was given on and on. It was passed forward, and each generation morphed it into a new kind of closed in identity that puts you in a kind of box. And so you're taking this out of your space, and you're putting that identity, belief system, way of being, way of thinking that she held you, that you know never ever was true for you, fit for you. And maybe it also comes with thoughts and feelings and energy, and you let all of that pour into that box, and you put the lid on it. And now we take a breath. And you hand this box back to your mother. It's beautiful. And she takes it and receives the box. And you let her be with how she's being. If she's responding, if there's grace, if there's a reaction, and there's a certain familiar way of being, you may have seen her way of acting or being before, you let her You let her be with all of it. Good. And as you breathe, you feel spaciousness filling, opening up more and more of the interior. You feel maybe your heart space is opening. Maybe you're becoming aware of all this energy rushing back to you. And so that's good. And you take a breath. Now you see that there's another box. This box is a little bigger. And you pick it up. And in this box, you get to give, you take the cover off of it, you open it up, it looks like a little treasure box. And you get to give back to your mother anything you want to give her back right now. Any thought, any belief system that she gave to you that was inauthentic, that shut you down, that had you disconnect with an authentic part of yourself. A place where she was trying to mold you or push you in because she was in a particular comfort zone, because she was uncomfortable with you shining your light. And so and sometimes a lot of things want to jump in and trust your inner guidance. It may not be a word, you may not be able to grab onto, this is exactly it. It may be a feeling tone. It may be a moment in time. It may be an experience where you experience being shut down. But anything that's limiting or inauthentic that you know you got from your mother, all of that may rush into this box and you're okay with it. And you close the lid and you smile and you hand it to your mom. And she graciously, or maybe not, takes the box. And now she's got these 3 boxes on her lap. And you bow to each other, acknowledging each other, and you say, thank you, Mom. I give these back to you now. And I divinely surrender. And I open space for my authentic self to come forward. I open the space to be in the divine discovery of who I am, who I'm meant to be right now, this exact moment, with all of my power, taking back my power right now. I feel all this energy return to me. And I thank you for helping to shape and mold and give me life. And now, thank you, Mom. Thank you for coming and having this divine appointment with me. And your mom acknowledges you, and you look at her, and your eyes meet. And now there's a moment where there's divine knowing, eye to eye, heart to heart. And your mom smiles at you. She knows that this is a great, great release for her and for you. And you feel as if cords have been broken and cut in all the best possible ways. And she's at peace, and she gets up and she starts to walk away, and she turns and glances and gives you the most loving smile. And she says, I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad that you did this. Thank you. You have set us all free. I'm going to take this back and give it back to the universe, the great mother. And we're going to be unlocking all of this for our entire sacred feminine line. Thank you. Thank you. And your mom bows to you and she walks away. And you might see her giggle or skip, but she goes to the door, she opens it, she turns back with a final smile, and she closes the door. And now you're in your sacred space, this throne room, and you allow her energy to dissipate. And as you breathe, you're with the experience of having these 3 parts of you back. And in this quietness, you know that something is in the womb of creation, that you're going to be with something. Allow this space, protect it, nurture it, and give it the space and time it needs to develop into empowering a part of yourself and allowing yourself to shine and be true to yourself like you've never been true to yourself before now. And as you breathe, I want you to take a breath and put your hands on your heart and say, I take back my power now from all those I have ever given it away to. I take back my power now across all time and space. I take my power back now. Deep inhale, hands to the heart, and you feel the rush of power anchoring, grounding, and energizing you. Body, mind, soul, spirit. And you feel empowered, enlivened, invigorated, inspired, and there's a clarity that is there, a courage that is bubbling up like vibrant energy. And as you breathe, you allow these divine, sacred qualities to fill and energize your cells, your mental body, your emotional body, all of the body of your affairs, your etheric field, and your entire energy field. Your entire being, all of you, is now fueled and funded by authentic, loving energy that you have taken back, reclaimed, and now you know you're going to bring forth your greater yet to be. The part of you that's been yearning to step out of the backdrop and step into the limelight. And you get to give your gifts and skills in such an authentic way that you feel enlivened, and all of a sudden, anything that was aging you, sapping your life force, has dropped away, and there's a invigoration. You feel like you're your ideal optimal age. Maybe it's 21, maybe it's 27, whatever it is, 33, 7. You let that divine part of you, that is this divine energy field is anchored right here and right now. And I want you to put your thumb and your forefinger together right here, both hands, and say, every time my thumb and forefinger touch, I'm going to remember that I am energized, that I have let go of these things that are inauthentic, and I am bringing forth and birthing this brand new part of myself. And she is so excited, and I'm going to fearlessly shine and give my gifts with such generosity. I feel it in my bones. There's excitement brewing, and I know I'm going to now be attracting all of this good to me because I'm being self-loving, self-caring, appreciating myself, and that means I'm going to attract all of that love and appreciation into my life. I am generating a magnetic field of being now for myself that is no longer blocked or encumbered by inauthentic ways of being and acting. Now I want you to take a breath in. Just be in the stillness of that. Feel that, how that feels. Now feeling yourself back in your body. You feel your throne, and you gently get up and you touch your throne. You feel the way it feels to you. You lovingly acknowledge it, and you get up and you bow to your throne, the place that knows you are a queen goddess, and that you have access to all the love, all the power, all the peace, all the wisdom, all the joy, all the prosperity, all the health, all the wealth that ever was and ever will be. You know it is within you. And you turn toward the door, and you walk to the door, and it's luminous now. It has an amazing glow. And you open the door, and you step back into your life. But there's a luminosity about your life now. And as you enter in, you close the door, and you enter back into your life. And you know that everything is going to spiral up for the better. There's grace here. There's ease here. There's self-love and appreciation. You're grounded, you're empowered, and you're ready to go. And as you take a breath, gently be with yourself. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Wow. Thank you, Ali. That was amazing. And this will be the last masterclass of the summit. And I think this is just such a beautiful way to cap it off for everybody.
So that's great. And this is live. You just did a process that life is gonna show up a little bit differently, and you'll be in the space of really allowing this discovery and listening to what wants to come forward, because you're gonna be glowing and you're gonna have energy, and it's gonna unfold in a very organic, surprising, happy way. It's going to be very interesting. So, and I invite everybody to journal about what you let go of and you are complete with, and what you're embracing, and what's in the invisible still now unformed, but like allowing what's possible for me now. What serves my highest good now? What am I inviting in? What do I want to birth? Who am I?
Such a big question. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. For anybody that wants to go deeper with you on this, because I know you've just kind of just touched the tip of the iceberg of what you do and what you're discussing here, how can people find out more about you?
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna be offering Reinspirement, and I think that Mia, you'll make the links available, and then I have I'm a guide and I teach creativity. I believe we're all creative, and unleashing your creativity shows up in a lot of really amazing ways. So you can go to my website, alivarshal.com, and all the information and offerings will be there. And then I also have a special thank you gift for participating. Emma, if you...
Yes, tell us about that. So you've got a freebie for everybody. Can you tell us, was it how to activate your true self and attract your heart's desires?
Yes. So I'm going to do, as a thank you for participating in the summit and for really helping you become aligned and embodied with what your heart really desires, I have set aside time for a live seminar. And if you can't make the specific day or time, it's going to be recorded so that you can participate. So we'll go through a process there to activate your true self and to become more and more of a magnet for what you want to attract, without all the pushing and pulling and striving and trying to force things. And you actually become a magnet to attract your perfect partner if you're not, if you still want love, to attract your perfect clients, to like just have everything come to you with a kind of grace and ease that is a very sacred part of our divine masculine and divine feminine energies. So I'm going to take you through a process for that. And then I'll take a short Q&A in case anybody has questions, and I'll let you know there'll be access to other ways to work with me there as well.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much. This has been absolutely fascinating, and I'm definitely keen to learn more about your live webinar and all the details. This is very, very exciting.
Yes, and thank you. It's been such an honor to participate in the Aligned and Embodied Summit. I know that, Emma, I just have to give you a heads up, a love tap. I mean, I am so excited to work with you because the work you do to bring out our best. So if anybody is developing a business, I invite you to check out Emma and be in her world. She knows how to bring out the best and most aligned version of you and your brand and all that you're offering. And then Mia is this incredible Dream Muse guide. She has processes and classes and courses that access your dream time and tap you into your intuition and align and embody you in all those other ways. So everybody, all these women on the summit are incredible, powerful women giving you great gifts. So I'm just thankful to be part of it. I really, really appreciate the privilege and honor it's been to be part of the summit. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Wasn't expecting that shout out, Ali. That's very lovely of you. And yeah, lovely way to cap it off. I hope everyone has had an amazing time during the summit, since this is our very last recording here. It's been such a privilege to listen to all these conversations and be part of it as well. So thank you all. And I hope that you are feeling more aligned and embodied, or you're on your path and you've found that re-inspiration like Ali's been talking about. So thanks everyone, and bye.
All right. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Mia. Bye for now.